You're listening to The Joe Cronin Show, a wrestling podcast with attitude.
In a perfect world, I would have been live earlier today doing one of my Anything Goes live Q&A, hangouts with you guys, talking about whatever, and wrestling and whatever else. But I decided to take a day off, which doesn't happen too often. And it's not really a day off because we do have Out of Nowhere coming up in a couple hours here. So tonight we'll be live. Hopefully you guys will call in with phone calls. We'll have all the super chat and stuff active as always, regular stuff. And we'll have some fun on Out of Nowhere tonight. It's episode like 100 and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what episode. After 100, I lose count of every episode of every show that I do. But going into wrestling, Luke Harper, WWE contract status, coming from Wrestling Inc., and a couple other sources from whether it's Wrestling Observer Radio and Dave Meltzer. Apparently, Luke Harper's contract is up in November. WWE could hold him for 6 months after that by freezing the contract for that amount of time that he was out with his recent injury. But it is they're saying it's unlikely that won't happen. So I don't know. It looks like you could see Luke Harper wrestling around November of this year. So it's going to be a little while for Luke Harper on the shelf unless WWE decides to allow him to leave. You know, if I was one of these superstars leaving, like Sasha Banks or one of these people that wanted to leave and was upset, I would, the only other thing you could do is say, listen, I promise not to, talk ill of the company for a year, not say anything about the company pretty much for a year. Other than, I enjoyed my time there, that type of thing. If you let me out of my contract now and allow me to work wherever I want to work, I will not do, hit pieces on you and say certain things. I think they've done that before. So that may be something that some talent should work on trying to get done. It seems like Sasha Banks is skipping the gun on that. And by the way, I do want to make a point on Sasha Banks. Something that's very interesting to me about Sasha Banks. We all have said, and I have said so much, you guys have heard me ad nauseum saying, people need to step up. And I think one of the dangers of them stepping up a lot of times, as we know, is when they do, they come across maybe as babies or spoiled. But we've been saying this, that we really think that the wrestlers need to step up and say something and be like, I'm sick of this shit. And I think the issue for me is with Sasha is, if the issue is that she lost the tag belts were taken from her, well, I have issue with that. Who cares if the tag belts were taken from you? But I do have issue with the way Sasha's been booked in other regards. So if Sasha Banks is standing up for her right in some of the stupid storylines and things they've done in the past and things that they could do in the future, then I'm happy she did this. We need more superstars, more wrestlers to do what Sasha Banks did. More people to do what Wolf has done and Luke Harper and others should do. And higher-ups to do it too. Sasha is actually one of the highest regarded performers, I think, to do something like this. I don't know, since CM Punk or maybe Ryback? I mean, Ryback decided to leave the company, but, people kind of didn't care. But Sasha Banks, she's one of the most prominent females to leave. I mean, I guess AJ Lee as well with CM Punk. But since AJ Lee, this is a big story that she has decided to leave or take 2 weeks to think about it. Now, she's trolling and vague and weird online. And now WWE is releasing hit pieces about her. I don't know if you guys have heard this. There have been 2 stories now. The leak about her and Bayley with the temper tantrum in the back, which I just don't believe. And then the story about her being a mark. Basically a fanboy or fangirl and a mark. That comes out too. Now to me, that is any wrestling dirt sheet person that goes to the WWE or goes to their source and says, hey, can you tell us more information about Sasha? What's going on? Well, WWE goes, well, not really. Not right now. We're not really sure. But, I mean, she's just always been somebody that was seen as a mark here and, things like that. Just very inappropriate and green around people. Just embarrassing almost. And, so then that dirt sheet writer goes, what the hell, really? And they, write that down. And next thing you know, there's a story about that. And that comes from the WWE, no doubt. So that's not a hit piece, but it's it's shade. Honestly, it really is. And I have honestly said that I believe that about Sasha. I've said They need to stop mentioning how they love Eddie Guerrero and they love this one and that one and Stone Cold's texting me and all these things. Stop with that and be a star. Be a superstar. Stop being a superstar who's a fan of other superstars. Stop that. So I have even said that in the past. And that may be true a little bit, and I still stand by that they need to be their own, legend or be their own hero. Don't live amongst the others, or don't tell everybody about it. So I do get it that they probably are maybe seen that way a little bit, so this isn't a lie, but this was purposely said to hurt them, similar to Corey Graves mentioning SASHA taking her ball and going home on Raw. So there's shade being thrown out at SASHA. So I think that everybody, as much as you want to boo her and say crybaby and all these other things, this is what we all wanted to see. We did. We all said this. They need to stand up, walk out, do whatever. There's still some people saying that other superstars need to walk out. And yet that same person is saying that, Sasha's a crybaby. Well, which one is it? Which way do you want it? I prefer SASHA. She's real as fuck. As far as I'm concerned, even though she may be a little bit babyish, and the fact that, you're mad about the tag belts, if that's what the case is, that there may be more to the story than that. We don't know about that. But I'm gonna say that I support her because you know what? This is what people called for. Now you got it, and now you're calling her a crybaby? No, now every other superstar who thought about doing this is going to be like, well, I don't want to do that. They'll bury me on TV. They'll put all these hit pieces out about me, hit stories, whatever, rumors, leaks. The fans will boo you. Yet CM Punk said, fuck all you guys, and you all cheer him all the time. CM Punk. Guess what? He don't like you. He put his yarmulke on and went home. CM Punk don't like you. Sorry. He hates you. He don't care. So Luke Harper's had enough too. He's done. How much money are WWE developmental contracts paid out to? This is something we've always thought. Like really, really bad contracts were around 50 to 60, and most contracts were around 80. That was what I always understood, with some of them going into the 120s. So that's what I believe. Let's click on the thing and find out if that's true. Here it is. How much money WWE talents paid by Mark Middleton, WrestlingInc.com. New WWE talents that are signed to developmental contracts are paid the average of $50,000 to $150,000 per year, according to WWE. Yeah, that's basically what we thought. It's actually a little bit higher than I thought. Average $80,000. Yeah, I would think so. When you think about travel and certain expenses and doctor's bills and stuff like that, $80,000. Oof. It's not a whole lot when you think about it. I mean, I know as an independent myself, as a self-employed person, it's basically like you're making 30. You're making $30,000 to $28,000 a year after all the bills and expenses and things. But that depends on if you get injured, sick, and things like that, though. So if you have a perfect clean slate, no sick, no injuries, no doctor visits that's not covered, and you don't have a family to support, well, then you could bank about $50K. But I doubt it. Let's see here. Let's check out SmackDown viewership. Well, I don't want to get into SmackDown viewership. We're going to talk about that tonight on Out of Nowhere. Guys, Out of Nowhere starts at 11 p.m. tonight right here. Hopefully Connor from OKFA will be here and Jake DeMarco will be in the house tonight. I believe they will, but we'll have to see, man. You never know with kids. What could happen. Like I said, I kind of took a day off today, hung out in the back with the kids. We did some cleaning. Lots of stuff still to be done. And I did do a Morning Madness episode, too. That is up. So if you missed it, you can go listen to that now, too. But, yeah, I really think we should support SASHA. I know there's everybody wants to kind of jeer her a little bit, like you crybaby. I'm not a big fan of most of what she did on the main roster. I'm not a big fan of. Most of it isn't her fault. Most of it is WWE's fault. Although I do believe she was given a big shot at Hell in a Cell in Boston, and that match didn't land, and so she didn't quite answer the bell there with Charlotte. I don't know what happened in that match. They just missed. I don't know what it was. But in NXT, this lady, Sasha Banks, she was a queen, man. She was amazing. She was someone that gave me chills when she came out with the NXT belt. I bought her t-shirt. She was great. Morning Madness episode 162, Asteroids and BJs. It's up right now, and if you track down a little bit, you'll see episode 1 from part 1 from yesterday, episode 161. Also, the link to the Discord is here as well. Make sure if you're a $10 patron or above, you guys get me your VIP, your information, so I can give you the VIP gold in the Discord chat, so you can be a psycho on Discord, and you can be really, just be a maniac. We like maniacs. Nold Jr. Donald Jr. just pledged $5 a month on Patreon, so thank you to him and Jordan from going 2 to 5. And the newest $25 associate patron, Mike Guaz from Brooklyn. From Brooklyn, baby! He's all the way from Brooklyn! I have no idea why I'm doing that voice. I think it's because I had a lot of coffee. But thank you, Mike, for sliding into the associate producer slot on Patreon. Hit me up on Patreon, you guys, if you have any questions. I've had an average of about 25 messages a day personally DM to me on Patreon, so I have been a little bit slower with answering them. But within 24 hours, usually I answer them. But there has been a couple times where 1, 2, or 3 days passed before I got back to you. But normally I get back to you pretty much the same day, usually. So hit me up on Patreon if you have any questions, comments, or whatever, concerns about anything. We'll talk about it. That's all I got right now because I want to save a lot of wrestling stuff for tonight on Out of Nowhere at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. right here. And shout out to everybody watching outside the U.S. all over the world who stays up for not only WWE but stays up for the review I do when it's like 5 in the morning, your time, 6 in the morning, and on crazy other times. I mean that's commitment, man. How you guys are watching the product and then staying awake for the reviews. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff. What do you guys think about all this? Leave in the comments down below. And here's some other videos you guys might have missed. And if you want to go right now to my Patreon and check it out and see what it's all about, check out some of the free stuff, bonus stuff, crazy rants, crazy music, crazy talk, and shit talk, and things we can't do here on YouTube. Top right, Patreon links popping up on my face. Enjoy it. We'll see you later. See you tonight.